So Amy and I have been living here in Scotland, working with Youth with a Mission, located in Paisley, Scotland. And we have two babies now, as most of you know, Garrett and Kara. Kara's going to be one in a week or so, so that's really cool. I just wanted to share some things that have been going on with us. As you know, we've identified ourselves as the Celtic Way community. We really feel like our lives have been inspired by the ancient Celtic church and the way that they lived their life. They would go out and be with people and meet people's needs, and they would retreat to these places of intimacy with each other in smaller community settings and intimacy with God, really trying to live faithful lives. And so that is something that God has really inspired us with, and we feel is in line with the way of Jesus. And so we're just trying to work that out practically. Recently, we've been reading through a book called The Tangible Kingdom and going through the workbook. And one of the things that's mentioned there is the circles that we operate in today and how those things can come together to really allow us to impact the world with our daily lives. You have communion, kind of your fellowship together with others and God. You have community, that connecting place with people. And then you also just have this idea of mission, like what's God's heart for the world and how can I plug into that? But there's barriers that keep those things from happening and keep us from living that way in the way of Jesus. And some of those barriers are individualism. Like just we're told to focus on ourselves and what we want instead of, like Jesus said, if you're gonna the person that follows me, you lay down your life. You die to yourself, and I'll show you how to live. So this idea of dying to self is really important. And then another thing, as we've been reading the book mentioned today, as I was reading, is materialism is something that can really war against community and communion and the mission that God has for us, our lives being impactful practically on a daily basis. And so I've just been through a process of looking at that and saying, how has consumerism or materialism or individualism really, just kept me from having community and communion and being on mission together with God? And I think it's really interesting to look at these things and the questions that arise, like how much do I have to work so that I can have money to buy the things that I'm going to buy? Do I need those things? How much does that keep me from having relationship and time together with others? How much stuff do I have? What could I get rid of? These are great questions for us to really get us back to the way that Jesus challenged us with, to live light in a sense. And so for me personally, I thought I would just practically show you some of the things I've been doing to put this into action in my life. First thing is just a heart thing, viewing everything I have is not my own, but just is available to the community that I live with, the people that are around me, and being willing to quickly to say, here, have some of this, whether it's food or clothing or books or whatever I have. That's one thing that's just kind of a heart thing. Of course, where we live in our room is really nice. We all live together in this big house, and we have our living room over here in this corner. We have our study, we have our dining room, and we have our kitchen over here. And so we have very, very, it's a nice living space, but it's not, it's a normal living space so we don't have to have so much money to pay for our lodging, which is really nice. Another thing I've done recently is just going through my possessions. For instance, here are my books. Down to 2 shelves. I have either given all the rest away or have put them in our library here at Stanley House for others to use. And even these, as I read them and process them, I'll probably give most of those away as well. That was a big step for me. I love books, but I thought, I should really share these with others. The other thing I did was just my clothes, which is probably an obvious, big point for some of us, like how much stuff I have. Yours could be anything from clothes to books to whatever else. What the accumulating possession is that you have. But here's my closet, and I've got it down to one wardrobe here. Everything in there has a purpose I use. And even I feel like I've put that before God and said, if somebody else needs this more than me, they can have it, Same thing. Here's my clothes in my drawers here, pretty much socks and then t-shirts, which most of these people have given to me now. I just don't spend a whole lot of money on clothes anymore. There's my shorts and exercise clothes and stuff like that. So it's just an example of a practical step I've taken and still need to take more in this area. But I think it's cool to look at and say, what things am I doing in my life each day that allow me to take step towards impacting the world around me with this life of Jesus, this God life that I need to be living. And the other thing I realize is when you live this way, you also have a much more minimal impact on the environment, the world that God has given us to care for. So lots to think about. I could go on, but that's just something practically that has been going on with me and with us that I thought would be cool to share with you guys. And love to hear any thoughts of how things like this have impacted your life, or how you feel challenged by these things and what you're doing to really live the way of Jesus in a practical sense that impacts the people around you. So anyway, love to hear from you. Let me know what you think and what your insights are, and I'll catch up with you guys again sometime soon. Blessings. Love you all. Bye.